References.
I'm Fishslappa, and you're watching the Clever References.
Welcome to another episode of MusoChatter. This week's episode is going to be with Evan Keith of Fishslappa. Yes, the drummer from the Clever References, but he has his own electronica thing happening. It's really cool. It's really fun. Skip to like minute 20 or 22 to see the live set or whatever, but without further ado, this is Evan Keith, my interview with my dear friend Evan from Fishslappa. Enjoy.
All right, we're on. Hey, this is me, Ash, with
Fishslappa.
right. Wait, hang on. First thing,
Okay.
just so can you say, I'm Fishslappa and you're watching the Clever References?
I'm Fishslappa, and you're watching the Clever References.
Okay, one more time.
I'm Fishslappa, and you're watching the Clever References.
Thanks. That's so weird because you're in the Clever References.
I am indeed.
Okay, but today we're gonna talk Fishslappa.
Yeah.
So all the way from Darwin, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you end up in Melbourne?
I'm here for uni, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, no leftist political views.
Yeah. No, I came down to apolitically attend uni. Yes. So I'm a first year uni student at Uni of Melbourne this year.
Right.
So I've been in Melbourne since February.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sure. So how did you get started with? How did you get started making music?
I guess my introduction to music was, I guess like a lot of people, like piano lessons at a very young age, and then trumpet lessons at a slightly older age.
Trumpet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I cannot play at all.
Oh, no.
That was terrible.
How old?
I started piano when I was about, I guess, 7. And then
Okay.
trumpet from about 9 to about 12.
How many lessons did you survive?
Well, I did it through school.
All right.
So I would have done one lesson every week for, I guess, a good 3 or 4 years.
Right. So yeah. All right.
But my start in like kind of what I'm doing at the moment in terms of Fishslappa stuff was, I guess I was introduced to garage bands.
Right.
When I was about 11 or 12. So I've kind of been on and off making electronic stuff.
Right.
With basically whatever I can get my hands on kind of since then.
Right. Interesting that you say GarageBand, because 3 out of 4 MusoChatter interviewers mention GarageBand.
I mean, it's a lot of people's introduction. Like I'm not going to say it's good or anything.
Right. Yeah.
Like I would never use it now, but like as kind of a teenager, or in my case, not even a teenager.
Right.
I was a child, kind of playing around and just learning the fundamentals of what goes where. It can be useful.
I mean, like, I mentioned 3 out of 4. One of them actually had a Japanese televised performance just now.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's bad or anything. But
I mean, if you,
how would you? Is it an important toy to start with?
it's an important toy to start with, and it also depends what you're doing. Like you're talking about long hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Long Hours, Alyssa Urquhara, and you is the
Okay.
3 out of 4.
Well, I mean, like I guess that none of them do like electronic stuff.
No,
So
they
I'd
don't.
say for particularly Long Hours, if that kind of like hardcore punk type stuff,
Yeah.
where it's mainly used for recording. I mean, it's fine for recording in my opinion.
Right.
It's
GarageBand.
Yeah, GarageBand's fine for recording. It's just in terms of if you want to do like synthesis and
Right.
electronic stuff, it's a bit lacking.
Now that you mentioned synthesis, so obviously you made the jump from GarageBand to more quote unquote serious stuff
Yeah.
like synthesis. What attracted you to like EDM in the purest sense? Like manipulation of frequency synthesis.
Yeah, I mean,
Modulation. FM.
this is kind of going a bit into my backstory, but
Sure.
I was a weird kid in like primary, late middle school. So I was kind of, I guess, the music that I'm making now, even though it's kind of, I probably wouldn't even describe it as EDM. It's kind of more on the experimental edge, but it's like gotten a lot more normal since when I started. Like,
Wow.
My first music was like just really bad, obviously. I mean, I was 12. What's it gonna be? But like kind of like really experimental stuff, because I was listening to like a lot of kind of experimental electronica, kind of like, I guess, Ryoji Ikeda, Ryuichi Sakamoto, Boards of Canada, Aphex Twin.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I really started listening to. Really inspired by, I guess, both IDM and even like more avant-garde stuff.
Sure.
People who are like, particularly like Ryoji Ikeda, who was like kind of the main artist who I started listening to way back then, who's kind of, I guess I describe him as, in a little ways, the father of kind of absolute synthesis in electronic music. So
Who is?
Ryoji Ikeda.
Yeah.
So I was kind of inspired by him, and also just kind of like, you know, obviously, you know, getting older, learning more about his contemporaries and other like Fluxus artists and other just avant-garde artists. So it's kind of, it's just something that I've always been interested in, I guess.
Cool.
Because I didn't see anyone else doing it.
Right. Have you always started with the name Fishslappa, or does that represent some kind of sort of musical leap, or has been always your musical identity?
Pretty much always. I mean, I don't think I ever formally released outside of SoundCloud any music under any other names. I had other names way back in the day.
Right.
But Fishslappa has been the name I've used for like not even just for my music, like literally everything I've done on the internet since like about 2011, 2012.
Sure. So, you just played a 15-minute set.
Yeah.
Is that born from songs you've actually made, or is it more improvisational every time you play live?
It's that the set I just played then was kind of, I guess, the least improvisational of all of my material.
Sure.
Because I knew that it was going to be, I guess, as compared to some other gigs that I've played, I guess more of a I guess casual listening experience.
Sure, yeah.
So a lot more of my because kind of all my most improvisational material is also my most experimental material, which I didn't think would be really appropriate for that venue.
My bad.
But yeah, so some of it's improvisational, but the stuff I've played tonight is quite by the numbers, quite kind of regulated.
So when you say regulated, are they going to be part of like some future track?
Well, most, I guess, I played 4 tracks tonight.
Sure, yeah.
I just kind of all strung them all together, which is what I like to do.
Which you're gonna see after this interview. Just for the listeners, for the viewers.
Yeah. So that's it's generally what I've done in sets for a few years now.
Sorry. So just establishing where we are. We're at the Arcadia Hotel in historic Punt Road. Yes.
This is Turak. That's Punt Road.
Turak and Punt Road.
Okay.
The intersection now, if you want to be specific. But you mentioned that this was a casual dining experience. You get $12 parmas every Tuesday, which was yummy.
Yeah, shout out.
But is there a hardcore listening base back in Darwin, maybe?
Actually, in a way, that kind of is.
Really? No.
Shout out the Happy S, by the way.
Sure.
It's basically just like a community arts venue.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not like specific to electronic stuff, but I mean, there's a hardcore crowd of maybe 20 people who are really into that kind of stuff in Darwin.
Okay.
And the gigs are always on the Happy S because I mean they let you put on gigs that aren't profitable, which is nice because they're a community venue and a lot of what I do and what I would like to do is not in the strictest sense profitable.
Right.
Especially in I guess in a small market like Darwin. Like there's not that I've played much since I've moved to Melbourne, but from what I hear, there's a lot more variety here, as you would expect in a city that's so much larger.
Yeah, Melbourne, by the way.
Yeah.
Would recommend to us like some Darwin indie artists that. Or your friends. Or your friends.
I mean, I guess Stevie Jean is good.
Cool.
She's a name to watch out for. Rapidly rising in the Darwin and broader Australian music scene. Who I went to high school with, and she was kind of yeah, like always playing kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Had a much better commitment to actually playing shows that I haven't seen.
Sure.
But yeah, she's good.
I guess it's true what they say, when you work hard.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah.
I'll flash the thing. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry. Go on.
I guess a lot of the bands that I know from Darwin are kind of like high school bands that no longer exist.
Oh, okay.
But who else is?
So the Darwin music scene is two people, Fishslappa.
No, there's like there's more than that. I mean,
Hold on.
especially.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially in recent years, there's kind of been this like emergent like metalcore post-hardcore scene.
Oh, yeah?
Bands like, I guess the Tapestry, We Burnt Bridges, all of their.
Sorry, just gonna repeat what you said. The Tapestry
The Tapestry,
and
We Burnt Bridges.
We Burn Bridges. So the
Yeah.
two, all of two metalcore bands.
Oh no,
Too
there's
much. There's a lot. is
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
saying.
I wouldn't describe it as a lot, but there's more than two.
Sure. There is a scene. Is
Yeah,
what you're
there's
saying.
a
Okay. So moving on from like Fishslappa stuff, which you're gonna
Yeah.
listen to after this interview, yeah? Watchers, listeners. Yeah. On the side, you play the drums.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you had lessons for guitar,
No, just
no.
piano and trumpet.
piano, and trumpet, but you ended up as your main acoustic instrument being the drums.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Like you play for. What the fuck?
Is the recording?
Yes. Hang on, this is upside. And speaking of the drums, well, you play for the clever references,
Yeah.
and you're proficient at it enough to
Thank you.
enough to be in my band. But how did you end up somewhat committing to the drums as your main acoustic instrument?
I don't know, honestly. Because you graciously described me as proficient on the drums.
Yeah.
I was certainly never proficient at either piano or trumpet.
Okay.
I guess it's just kind of an instrument that I always gravitated towards. Like I was in school band for ages, and I was always kind of jealous of the people who were on percussion. So
Right.
I guess it was just kind of a natural evolution.
Sure.
But I never got any lessons for it, and I think that kind of would have destroyed 13-year-old me's morale playing the drums. So it's probably a good thing in the way.
Yeah. So I'll double down on that proficient tag that I put on you. Proficient drummer. I'm gonna
Okay.
like it's gonna be Evan Keith proficient drummer.
Yeah.
Who do you look up to? Sorry. Who do you look up to? Who do you look up to in terms of percussion heroes?
In terms
Not
of
not
percussion?
just drums, I guess. Or maybe just beats. Actually, you can name EDM people, I guess.
In terms of percussion, I'd say my main three people are Zach Hill,
Okay.
Tony Allen,
Okay.
and a guy who I was wondering if I was going to be asked a question like this, and I looked up his name and I've forgotten it.
Oh no.
But Yaki Liebknecht, I think is his name, the drummer from Can.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll send you what his actual name is.
Sure.
I'd say they're like my three favorites.
How did you? So, for people who are not in, percussion world,
Yeah.
those names can be quite obscure. How did you go about finding them?
Well, the first name, Zach Hill. I think like many angsty 14 to 15-year-olds, I first learned about Zach Hill through Death Grips.
Oh.
He's the drummer from them, but
Right.
honestly, I think in terms of what I'm drawing inspiration from and why I'm listing his name, his work with Hella for about a decade before Death Grips, and also his solo work is kind of what I'm most referring to.
Right.
Yeah, I really kind of admire just the way he makes the drums quite a physical instrument and also quite an instrument that you can listen to in their own right. Like,
Yeah.
which I think is a turning off point for a lot of people who aren't drummers. Like a lot of the stuff with Hell, like it's like like it's instrumental, just guitar and drums.
Right.
And the guitar's okay, but it's really all about the drums.
The drums, right.
But
I wouldn't mind if the clever references kind of sort of evolved into that. I guess I don't know, because I can't play guitar.
Don't be too harsh. I mean, like,
Sure. So second name,
second name,
Tony Allen.
Tony Allen.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's not an original pick. I think he kind of boosted to fame recently when Brian Eno called him his favorite ever drummer.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think he is, if not one of the most technically skilled drummers ever, one of the most influential,
Right.
and one of the most kind of revolutionary in his techniques. He's a Nigerian drummer.
Okay.
He played in Fela Kuti's bands for ages,
Yeah.
as well as his own solo work, and he kind of has this kind of approach that I think that I, in a lot of ways, copied.
Sure.
But found is really useful in the way that he plays, kind of with all of his limbs as a separate kind of rhythm or meter. So he'll, because he plays a lot of kind of infused with traditional African music, where
Yeah.
you'll have different rhythms and meters going at the same time. So
Polyrhythms, essentially.
Yeah. And he will basically, I guess, how he's revolutionary in that he's kind of the first person who really applied those kind of polyrhythms to the kit. So as opposed
right.
to having lots of drummers in like a drum circle,
Right.
playing these different rhythms, which is actually incredibly difficult, able to play those rhythms with his different limbs and
Yeah.
kind of mimic that sound, but with a more kind of rock and jazz influenced feel.
Right.
So yeah, he was kind of. I've watched a lot of videos and tried to kind of copy the way that he divides his limbs and the way that he plays.
Nice. So the unpronounceable name, the third one.
Yaki, I know how to say his first name.
Sure.
Yaki Liebezeit.
Who's kind of my most recent influence.
Right.
But yeah, was drummer for the German band Can for all their albums.
All right.
He, in a way, he's a lot simpler than either of those two previous drummers, who are
Right.
both kind of in different ways technical, but they're both definitely technical. He has this almost kind of. I've heard the word primal described by music reviewers to talk about it. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but I'll go with it for now. Of just kind of playing like really rudimental stuff,
Right.
with this kind of really free-flowing feel, because I'm pretty sure he was originally a jazz drummer before he started playing
Right. So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah, like he has the like stoner aesthetic going about it, but like he's genuinely like an incredibly like well-versed and like kind of, you can tell he's spent most of his life as a drummer.
So we've been talking about your acoustic drumming, your influences, context and being my drummer in the clever references.
Yeah.
Does any of that feed back into your Fishslappa stuff, the recent ones?
In terms of the drummers, I'd say not really.
Okay.
I mean, I guess there is a broader influence, like
Sure.
Like, I mean, I've been incorporating polyrhythms into
I noticed.
Yeah, cool. Which some of that is a bit of Tony Allen creeping in. One of my favorite song in the set, I used a kind of 7/4/4/4 feel for the build-up feel.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an idea that I've heard Tony Allen use.
Right.
Kind of co-opted, but I don't know. It's in such a different context. I don't know how much it's really inspired by him.
Yeah. So in modern music production, like you're doing Fishslappa, you're doing the clever references and stuff like that. Sometimes there are times, even most of the time maybe, like for like musicians on a budget, you would replace percussion with MIDI triggering samples.
Yeah.
They can sound really realistic these days, obviously. What's your initial feeling about that?
Is this a pointed question about a recording process?
Well, just, we don't have money, so we end up doing MIDI drums. I'm sorry, Evan.
No, I can see what the I can see what the appeal is.
Yeah.
Again, it also depends on context.
Yeah.
Like I think if any of the 3 drummers that I listed recorded on MIDI, it would actually Zach Hill's recorded on MIDI before, but for different stuff.
Yeah.
It would kind of give a different feel. But if what you're going for is like rock or kind of post-hardcore or even punk,
Yeah.
or in particular new wave when it's kind of almost necessary some of the time, I can see the appeal.
Because even in those genres that you mentioned, like rock, metalcore, what did you mention again? Rock, post-hardcore, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you would have an acoustic drum performance, but overlay samples on them. That's like another thing.
I don't know if I really get that. I mean, post-hardcore is so far from my area of expertise.
Yeah.
Post-hardcore drumming is just another world. So,
how do you feel about hybrid drum kits?
Hybrid drum kit.
Like, you have acoustic drums and then you have a roll-in thing pad going on, and then you trigger. There are like doodads you can put on the drums to trigger stuff.
I've recently been kind of listening a bit more seriously to, I guess, kind of one of the few kind of, I guess, Australian boomer bands that I actually think are kind of good. Midnight Oil.
Midnight Oil, okay.
Yeah, and have you heard of that?
No.
Okay, their drummer Rob Hurst, who's kind of unusually integral to their songwriting process.
Sure.
Has a hybrid kit. I actually saw them live in Darwin a while ago.
Wow. Went all the way up to Darwin.
They're one of the few big bands who actually.
Because usually people just hit Melbourne, Sydney, Bris, maybe Perth, and call it a tour.
Yeah.
Hang on. Tram. Okay, go.
Okay. But yeah, he has a hybrid kit, and I think he uses it quite effectively.
Sure.
I think I've certainly seen people kind of rely on hybrid kits.
Yeah.
Because they just kind of want the novelty of it.
Yeah.
As a bit of a side note, from a sound text perspective, it can be a bit of a nightmare.
Oh yeah, because like you're hitting the snare, but it's going to 2 channels, I would imagine, because one of them is going to PI or whatever.
But I like a lot of things in drumming, I think it can be used well.
Sure.
I think it can be abused, but it has uses.
Right. So, what's coming up for Fishslappa? Are you releasing a track or gigging more?
Hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've got about 40 minutes of kind of playable material in kind of the loose style of the set from tonight.
Yeah.
So hopefully a few more gigs like this.
Okay.
Hopefully at, I guess, more electronica-specific venues.
Right.
Which will require more scouting, I guess, is something I've kind of been slipping up on.
Okay. Thank you for the interview.
Okay.
See you in practice on Monday.
Okay.
All right, so you're in for a treat. This is the full set for Fishslappa on when he was playing in the Arcadia open mic. Enjoy.
Okay, hope you enjoyed that. That's been me, Fishslappa, and yeah.
Stay clever.
Stay clever.
Stay clever.